Hey. Hey everybody, welcome gamers of all types. This is Travis here at PGX. We're going to run it back, just keeping continuity with our beer here.
Yeah.
You can't pair great beer without great company here. And I'm so excited to have this guest on our show. And again, who do we have as our co-host today here though?
I'm JosephTheVoice, and we're going to be hanging out with none other than the one, the incredible John Hancock.
I'm so honored to be on this. Big fans of Guys, Games, and Beer, and folks are amazing, and I just love everything that you stand for. Happiness, glory, beer, games, and much more. Some of my best experiences were at the Midwest Gaming Classic, hanging out with you folks. So I look forward to coming back, and happy to just talk anything you want.
Yeah, so again, really excited to catch up with what you've been up to lately.
Yeah.
Again, I know you're all over the place. We often don't go this far. I mean, we usually stick to our Midwest Stomping Grounds. We're so glad PGX had us back again this year. And it's really great to catch up with people around the scene. You spend these times at these cons, right? You start to get those familiar faces and everything. Yeah. And again, it kind of feels like you're home away from home.
Yeah.
And you get to catch up with that extended con family. It's really awesome, right?
Yeah.
So what's been new in your world, John?
Oh man, I do about 8 to 10 shows a year across the United States. So I'm from Washington State, so I had to take a red eye.
It's long.
I'm a teacher by day, a 4th grade teacher by day, and so I had to get a red eye and got a sub to come to this. And essentially, I do 8 to 10 shows a year where I offer my homebrew and aftermarket video games, and I brought 10 different releases, and I offer some new games at the show. A new game called Tortoises for the NES.
Okay.
As well as for the Intellivision. But I offer 4 2600 games. Game Panic 3, Retro Game Quest, and Catacombs of Chaos.
So
yeah.
So again, what's your 2 newest titles that you've just kind of come up with here?
Okay, so I offered a new version of Block'em Sock'em for the Atari 5200 and 8-bit.
Heck yeah.
As well as Tortoises for Intellivision and Nintendo Entertainment System. Yeah, those are my newest releases.
Heck yeah. And again, it's really cool to see the scene again of people like keeping these passions from their game history alive. Like, and again, like seeing either new titles or titles ported over.
Yeah.
Again, there's just so much great talent and kind of bringing new life to these systems, right?
I mean, the NES was one of the first systems I ever played in my life, so to know that I'm 34 years old, so it's like 30 years after the fact, and we're still creating Nintendo games, like that is supreme content right there.
And the boxes, if you look at the releases, which Broke Studio over in France, they're the ones that created the physical release of this.
Yeah.
And if you put them side by side with an original release, you can't tell. Like, the quality is there. It's got the glossy box. It's got the bag. It's got the black dust sleeve. It's got the foam piece.
Especially again in this day and age. Again, like you're paying more for games. You're getting less in the box.
Yeah.
There's something to be said for the physicality of a good game and the experience with it, right?
Absolutely.
I want to know what games you're buying that you're still getting games in box, because like everything's basically digital these days. So
I mean,
so to even get physical gaming, I mean, that's one thing that I'll just say thank you very much in general, for allowing physical gaming to still be a thing for a lot of people, put their hands on these products and be able to actually play them and not have to go to like just some catalog somewhere or try to pull a ROM from something. Like it's really cool to see that you're keeping that alive. I know, like, one of the things I was reading up on, you've had a lot to do with like the Portland build up in gaming too.
Yeah, so I'm one of the original organizers of that the first 6 years, but I'm really big on supporting and advocating for physical games. And so my NES collection is going to be at Portland in 2 weeks.
Oh my!
The entire
That's
box
so
set,
cool.
North American set, minus stadium events. It's a loose cart. Forgive me, please.
How dare you?
Yeah, but
So if there's anybody out there, he's looking.
yeah, and I would say, so it's really hard to assemble a full NES set and to put it on public display for a show, as you folks know.
We've actually built shelves for it before.
Yeah, so
I was a part of that. Assembly, I should say.
And Midwest Gaming Classic is a good example of the hard work and effort it takes to represent physical releases and have a museum and have that on public display. Thank you so much for what you do.
It's again, like I know you're kind of a kindred in spirit of this, like, again, like the hard work into game preservation or sharing this at events with people, like that, all that just like melts away when you see people sharing that moment together, right?
Absolutely.
When you see people getting together at these consoles or like sharing with their friends or family or that excitement, you're like, oh, this is why we do it, right?
Yeah, and PGX is another show. I mean, I'm looking around and hearing the sights and sounds of people enjoying and appreciating original releases, playing on original consoles, original games, arcade machines, pins. It's so freaking awesome.
Unless you're G2B, you build custom, rigs that are like Vectrexes that aren't like big cabinets, and you're very unique in that. But there's two things that you said specifically that stood out to me. One, you said that you're an educator.
Yeah.
I'm also an educator, so like, heck yeah, dude, like that like rings close to home. Like I've been working with these kids for a long time. I work in esports gaming specifically.
Awesome.
So being able to kind of help them like stay with the understand the know-how, the knowledge to like help gaming stay alive and bring it to that next level. But then you also mentioned the other thing was you talked about a museum.
Yeah.
And almost every time I've ever read anything about you, your like long-term dream to really do is to have your own museum. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, if I'm being honest, those plans have changed over time. I'm going to be honest, I had a local business that wanted to take it on and showcase my collection indefinitely, and unfortunately that didn't happen. And so what happened, change in management, and that is not going to happen, so I'm going to plan B. But preservation of games is really important with me, and so I am looking to work forward and share some news, hopefully this next year, where my game's going. And so having a plan with your game collection, preservation is really important, and so hopefully we'll share that news this next year.
And the only thing, I just want to touch on one more thing. The only thing that makes me sad about when you hear the word museum is you're taking all of that history, all of that amazing content, and you're putting it behind glass. You're kind of hiding it away from the public, and you're not allowing them to access it. And I'm not saying that it's like a bad thing, because you want to showcase what was. But like, have you ever thought about the idea of like an interactive museum of sorts?
So my plan moving forward is kind of getting away from like a traditional museum, and more importantly, where are the games going to be in 100 years?
Right.
And museums are kind of short-lived. You look at the Paul Allen Living Computer Museum, it's shut down.
Yeah.
So my thinking is I need to look beyond what is a traditional museum and more think preservation, as it's really going to be important to know that educators and people in the game industry have access to video games in 100 years.
Yeah.
And who's doing that? There's
sense.
some people doing that, and I'm working with them, and I hopefully will share some news this next year about
and that's
that.
very unique.
Yeah, and again, that's a really good point. Hey, like again, in 100 years, like who's going to be able to get access to all this physical medium that does degrade, right?
Yes.
We are. I mean, like again, we already have
absolutely.
discs having plenty of disc rot and everything.
Yeah.
Like it's just. Again, it's definitely something that people need to be considering sooner rather than later, because again, we already have media that's pretty hard to acquire already from certain eras. It's and it's only been 50, 60 years.
Absolutely.
So that's again, that's really it's a lot to do that long-term thinking and a plan accordingly, right? To make sure that those next generations actually have access to information from its primary source.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we just want to take the time to thank you again for
thank
being
you.
on the show, being a part of the beer court, just being a part of the action, just honestly bringing life to gaming and keeping it alive.
Thank you so much.
Once again, I'm Joseph the Voice, hanging out with
Travis here at PGX, and we are here with the Immortal
John Hancock.
Thank you so much for joining us on the show. Again, we're excited to bring you more from PGX. We'll catch you soon.